see more of that. Whilst we're sort of hanging around, there's opportunities to go up to another mountain on the other side of the valley called pt3, and this is a picture from here, and it really gives you a good idea of the western flank. This is Everest here. Stick. Everest is here. This is Lhotse, very famous mountain, and the Lhotse face, which is even more famous than the mountain. And this is Nuptse, stuck in here. The ice fall here, and the western combe fits in around here. And it's just that western combe is a sensational place, really, because you've got so many big mountains all the way around it. The Temple of Kings, someone said.
What's a combe?
A combe, well, a combe is, it could be called a corrie in Welsh, but basically it's a place that's surrounded, almost like your hand, and it's where, at one time, there was a big glacier here, and it's just gouged its way out and down. So the glaciers scooped it at the back and gouged it down at the sides and then dropped out.
Right.
And that's how it's formed, and I guess that's how it is. The way I've put the slides together is to sort of give an idea of what it's like as we go up. In actual fact, what we do is acclimatise, so we go up and down a few times. So I'll explain the process, and then we'll just have photos of those individual places, so you're not going up and down, which is even more confusing. So the first part of it is all about acclimatisation. The thing to remember is we really don't want to be in the ice fall very much. Less time is good time because it's incredibly dangerous there, and it's out of your control all of the time. So the way we worked it was we'd go have a quick look and down, and that was just a case of familiarisation of what we're going to get into. So the first saute into it is up to Camp 1, stay the night. Following day, we wander up into the western combe until we're bored, fed up, or can't breathe anymore. Walk back down, spend the night at Camp 1, and back to base camp. Spend a couple of days there, getting over it, feeding up, drinking up. We're not drinking alcohol all this time we're away, because that doesn't do acclimatisation any good. The second time we go up, it's skip Camp 1 and go all the way up to Camp 2, which is an absolutely killer of a day. You finally get there and collapse. Stayed there, I think we stayed there the following day just playing cards and lazing around.
But how many tents have you got? Are you setting up the tent when you get to Camp 2 after you stayed at Camp 1?
No, we leave the tents there because if there's a problem,
you need to rush back.
We can whip back to those.
So when you make the final ascent, would you be tents all the way down, basically?
There'll be tents all the way down. So we stay there playing cards for the day. We walk up to the bottom of the Lhotse face, which is about 2 hours walk and quite a bit of acclimatisation. I know what it was. Sorry, the second, we get up there. The first day afterwards, we have a walk up, walk back. The next day, we had a walk up and climbed up the Lhotse face a bit, and then back down, and then all the way back down to base camp. And that's the acclimatisation done then. We're just waiting for the weather, and as soon as it can, we'll go straight to Camp 2 in ideal times. The following day, we go to Camp 3. The following day, we go Camp 4 and up. Didn't quite work that way, but that was the plan. So we fully acclimatised, and you can go from there. Oh, yeah, I just took this photo again so that you can actually, on the picture, you can see base camp, the glacier, the ice fall. In somewhere just behind this lump of rock down here is Camp 2, Up here is Camp 3. There's a yellow band of rock, which everyone knows, the yellow band, so we climb up the face and traverse across to the band. Up over that, it's called the Geneva Ridge, which we climb, and over the back, and there's the Camp 4 in a coal here. And from there, it's up to I think this is the south summit, and then over the back is the real summit. Hope that's clear enough. So, happy chappies, getting ourselves sorted, and we'll go up and start the process of acclimatisation and climbing through the icefall. Now there's some Sherpas who are employed, and the cost is all shared by all of the climbers in base camp, called the icefall doctors, and all their job is to go up early each morning and try and make sure the place is as safe as they can. Ropes are in place, because crevasses are opening up and closing all the time, ice is just collapsing. The ladders are in place. To walk across the ladder the first time when you've got crampons on is a bit of a fun thing. The way you do it is you've got two ropes, clip onto one, which is a safety one, and you grab up both ropes and you lean forward, and that way you just hold yourself on the ropes, because if you're trying to pull them, one's always becoming loose. So if you hold them together, you can lean as far forward as you like. And then it's a case of delicately putting the back two points of your crampons on the tread of one run, and the front points will just about reach the next run. So you just step between them and delicately walk across, as per Alina.
Are they all the same size?
No. No, there's two sizes. There's the ones that you can easily fit and the ones that you just about fit. But they have two different sizes. And not only are they crosswise, some of them are tied together and go up. But this is a good view of the sort of environment as well, where you just can't trust what's going on. These guys at the back have got, I think they're 5 tied together just to get through this stretch of ice, not only going up, but they sort of tilt and twist to get around it. This is Stuart, who I climb with a lot of the time, and this lot of rock here is all overhanging, and when we came down, it wasn't there. So, it's not a good place to be, so you really want to avoid it as much as possible.
Did you see any bits of ice carving while you were walking through?
Yeah, particularly on the way home, and I just about shit myself because it was on above me. But this is a typical, this is what you see all over. This is just a bit of an adjustment of the ice, and it's taking its toll of the ladders. Until we get to Camp 1. So Camp 1, there's some fantastic positions. This is looking out from the coombe. We'll look up in a minute, but this was the mountain we'd sort of climbed up here somewhere to look across and get those initial photos. But it's not all blue skies. This is looking up the other way. So you have the Lhotse face, and you have Everest, this part here. And we've still got a few crevasses to go through before we get to Camp 2, and Camp 2 is going to be sort of somewhere in this area. Camp 3 is in this area. Another photo of the area, just because it's a nice photo. When you see the ladders and they're tied together, they take some thinking about whether until you just launch yourself on them and keep walking. There's one of the things you might see. There's this red pouch on the side of me, and it's a foam case for the water bottles, because if you don't put them in foam, before you get very far, you know, you suddenly end up with a load of ice and you don't get anything to drink. And one of the key problems you get is dehydration, among all the other problems with altitude. Not wanting to eat. And this is wandering along the combe itself. And this is getting up towards Camp 2. It's not a steep angle, it just feels like it. It's almost as if you're trying to breathe through a straw. As you go up higher, the straw gets longer and thinner. Photos, pretty grim by photo standards, but for me, it indicates just how strong the UV is up there. In the shade, it's probably minus something or other. Just let's say it's just at 0. But once you're out in the sun and the sun's up, the reflection, the sun blazes down at that altitude. It feels like it's 50 or 60 degrees. It's just an oven, and there's nothing you can do. You just try and cover up the best you can, and ideally climb as much as you can in the dark or early morning. Until we get to Home Sweet Home, which is Camp 2. We've got insulated tents here. We've actually got a guy who we leave up a lot of the time for cooking. So he actually got additional bonuses for that. And we've got our little mess tent, and then we've got the tents we're going to sleep in. But because we're there quite a lot of the time, coming, going, staying up there, it's worthwhile putting it together. And of course, solar power, because we've got to take a laptop up so we can watch a film at night. One of the guys with us, a bit of a mixed mob really. So Lena from Macedonia, a part-time doctor, full-time climber from Birmingham, and they're called Adam. 2 professional climbers, a guy, an ex-banker from, he lives in Hong Kong, and a French filmmaker. So a bit of a mixed mob.
Where is the other expeditions that would have been there at the time? Where do they have?
They may well be there.